Imagine this, you and your friends were out eating and one of your friends shared a little secret with you. That secret really, maybe not so much of a secret now, but they just bought their new home. And now they have you wondering, how can you buy your home too? And what are the steps involved? Well, one of those things are probably not going to be quite so fun, but that's a financial strategy side and it needs to be done correctly. So after our conversation today, you'll have a relatively painless 5-step financial plan to buy a house. My name is Andrew Finney and my passion is helping you make sense of real estate. If you need help finding a top agent where you live, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Thank you. Alright my friend, let's take a closer look at this with these 5 steps. The first step is to examine your financial position and your goals. So obviously when you're out there looking online and you're shopping for homes, it's one thing to window shop, it's one thing to dream shop, and it's another thing whenever it's time to buy your new home. So let's get real about your financial position, take a look at the monthly budget, and any concessions you might need to make to be able to buy your new home. Buying your new home is going to be really exciting, and when we're talking about concessions, consider the fact that simply dropping the latte every day is going to save you a huge amount of money. If you're accustomed to having a Starbucks latte or wherever latte once a day, that's like $5 a day or $150 a month. So if you cut back on that a little bit, still treat yourself. I mean, we're all people, right? Enjoy yourself, sit back that latte and have a good time, but just cut it down a little bit. Take a look at your entertainment budget and take a look at the different things that you might need to adjust to pay off some debt, save some money, and be able to buy your new home. After all, a home is so much more than just 4 walls and a roof that we share with our loved ones and we enjoy growing together. It's the roof over our head, our peace of mind, and our domain. It's worth a little bit of sacrifice in the short term to get what we want in the long term. Take a realistic look at your financial situation. Make sure you have a great monthly budget on tap right now. There's some very helpful budgeting apps out there. I'll throw up a card for you right now so you can check it out next. And the other thing that you want to assess and be very clear about are your financial goals. Where do you see yourself 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years into the future? And how does buying a house fit into your overall financial goals that you have set for yourself? Getting clear on this now is going to be very, very helpful to you on your path to home ownership. The second step is putting together your budget. When we're talking about your budget, now that we have identified your financial goals, your current financial position, we also need to begin planning for the ability to buy a home. When you get ready to buy a home, you probably have already heard about the down payment. Well, there's a lot of different down payment programs out there if you want down payment assistance. There's a lot of different amount of down payments you could put down. In some cases, you can go down to as low as like a 3% down payment. But there's also this thing called buyer closing cost, and this sometimes surprises people, so let's not let it surprise you. Buyer closing costs generally range between 2% and 4% of a sales price. So I normally suggest that people in practice that it's best to just plan on 3% of a sales price. So you might be wondering, well, what's a sales price, Andrew, and what are you talking about exactly, right? So you're gonna have 2 sides of this. You're gonna have your down payment amount, and let's say that you're putting down like 5%. Then you need to plan for the separate buyer closing cost of roughly 3%. When we're talking about 3% of the sales price, let's say you're buying a $500,000 home. $500,000 times 3% is what? $15,000. If you're putting 5% down towards your mortgage, then you're gonna have $25,000 for a down payment. Add that with your $15,000 and bringing the total amount that you need to be prepared for at $40,000 to get into that $500,000 home in this example. That doesn't include like the moving costs that you might want to be able to plan for if you're gonna hire movers, and anything that you might want to do to the house right away, like paint or some furniture that you might want for your new home. So make sure that you're taking into account for that and budgeting for it as well. Also get a clear picture on what a monthly mortgage is going to cost you for your new home so that you know how to structure your budget accordingly. Consider if you want to hire landscapers or hire maid services or any services that you may want for your home, and be sure to factor about 1% of the sales price of the home. So in our $500,000 example, that would be $5,000 annually we would like to see you save for your home maintenance purposes. Does that mean it's going to cost you $5,000 a year to maintain your home? Probably not. But when the big things go out, like a roof or something that needs to get done, you'll have the money saved up in an emergency fund for just your home, or a home maintenance fund, if you will, for just your home's purposes. That will really help out in your budget. The third step is to prepare your financial documents. Now that you're making some really good headway, you've identified your financial goals, you have identified your financial position, and you thought about what a monthly budget is realistically going to look like for you, now it's time to go ahead and prepare all your financial documents that your local loan officer is going to ask you for. So the local loan officer is going to want to review your income, your assets, your credit, and your employment. And when you're thinking about what that is, your income is going to be proven by your last 2 years tax returns, your 2 years W-2s, 2 months of your bank statements, and 1 month of your pay stubs. That's going to take care of that. They're going to call your employer and make sure that you're still working there and you plan to have employment in the future. This is kind of a good thing in the way that a lender will look at this, that you will have the ability to repay the loan. So that's what they're looking at. Your assets, they're going to be looking at any retirement accounts you have, 401ks, or any stock market trades that you might have, or any other properties that you might own. That's what they're going to be looking like. And then they're going to take a look at your credit. When we're talking about your credit score, the higher your credit score is, the better it's going to be, and the more favorable mortgage rate and terms you're going to be able to get. If it's lower, it's okay too. That's why they have down payment assistance programs, so long as you meet the minimum threshold of the loan officer and the loan program you're looking to apply for. There's a lot of options for you and a lot to talk about with your trusted real estate advisor and your local loan officer. That's going to be a really good next step for you, even if you're 1 to 2 years away from buying your new home. The more information you can gather now, just like you are in our conversation today, the better prepared you're going to be for success. The fourth step is to get informed about your lending options. Notice that we left the third step talking about the stuff that you're going to need for the local loan officer. Now it's time to get familiar with the different lending options available to you, from a VA loan, FHA loan, USDA loan, and conventional. Don't worry if you don't know everything about those loan types, it's okay. A VA loan, for reference, is for military, active duty, and veterans. FHA is open to everybody. A USDA loan is for the rural areas of the United States, and a conventional loan is open for everybody and has some really interesting terms as well. So all of these loan programs have different pros and cons. To find out which one of these programs is going to be best for you, sit down with a local loan officer and ask them, share your needs with them, share your concerns with them, and ask them what would they advise you, and then take all that information in, talk it out with anyone that you need to talk it out with, any other decision makers that are making this decision with you to buy your new home, and figure out what's going to be best for you so you can make the most well-informed decision possible, and one that you will be comfortable and confident with moving forward. The fifth step is the fun step, and that's getting yourself ready to buy. Now that you have everything ready to go, you have a loan pre-approval letter, the local loan officer verified your income, your assets, your credit, and your employment situation, you've designed a monthly budget, you have stock of your financial position, and you have your financial goals in mind moving forward, now it's time to get out and start the house hunt. Now it's time to have a buyer consultation meeting with your trusted real estate advisor. Take a look at the homes, learn to grade those homes on a 1-star to 5-star rating, where 5 is like, oh my god, I want to move in tonight, and 1 is so awful you take my glasses off and stab me through this camera with it, right? Please don't do that, that'd kind of be bad. But any home that you would honestly grade as a 4-star above being the one that you can make your own, because most homes are never a 5 until you put your touch on it and you make it your new home. Now that you have 5 steps to help you financially plan for buying a house, let's take a closer look at the best debt payoff strategies and also get real with some real talk about mortgage lenders and loan options. Looking forward to having another conversation with you. See you soon.